Hey everybody, Bonehead from the Bonehead podcast, and we've got a Kickstarter preview for you now from Warg'Name's Nameplate Builder. So Warg'Name did the Kickstarter for Blood Bowl teams a little while ago. They do nameplates and things like that for all kinds. If you've been on My Mini Factory or Cults, you'll see them. Actually a pretty decent way to get nameplates for your team. I think they normally cost about £10 for a team's worth, all the positionals and numbers and things like that. But they've created something that I think is pretty awesome. So if we have a look at the video behind me, you can see there that what they are producing now, let's zip back a little bit, is a ton of different base plates. But it is not just pre-made base plates. This is a series of Blender files essentially that you can go in and choose the elements. It's basically a custom nameplate builder. You can add up to 2 rows of text. You've got a ton of what they call greeblies, which is like accessories, so spiked balls, eagles, tubes, like things, you know, depending on what kind of game it is, cogs, nuts and bolts and things. So if you're a 40k player, there's a ton of assets there. Adeptus Titanicus is awesome. They've got skulls for every Games Workshop game imaginable. There's a bunch of little, a bunch of different kind of template styles for the bases as well. So you've got a ton of variability, and you can see all of the base sizes here. So if you are an Adeptus Titanicus fan, Age of Sigmar, Blood Bowl, Necromunda, you're going to be able to brew up any kind of base plate that you need in almost any base size as well. I think the best thing for us to do is to have a look at a file. I've got a tree man here that needs a base plate, so let's build it, let's print it, and let's have a look. Okay, so we're just going to dive straight in and have a look at building a base. So I've got a base right here that I've printed and inked so we can see the detail. What we've got here is the 40mm normal plate. There's flat styles, there's bigger bases, there's smaller bases. Basically, good pun, I want to print a nameplate for this tree man. The tree man is, as a big guy should be, on a 40mm base. I know that's going to upset some people, but 40mm bases for big guys works brilliantly, especially if you're like me and create ridiculous big guys. So you've got this. This is literally, you double click it and it opens up in Blender. I don't have a lot of experience in Blender at all, and the great thing is you don't need it, which I was personally very appreciative of. I played in Blender once before and I was like, what the heck is it? Was not fun. But the way this process works is actually really good. So you've got the basic here, and you can see, if you click, you can see the different pieces, and on the right hand side here it will come up on the toolbar. So if I want to click the text, you can scroll down and it will find the text for you. If you want to check the shields or greeblies, I think Warg'Name like to call it, you can scroll up and down and you can find where the greeblies are. You can see we've got shield style 1. So we're going to start at the very beginning. And that is going to be getting our style of base. So let's scroll all the way. You can see all the gumph we've got here is pretty cool. Click the visibility button and it goes away. Click the visibility button and it appears. So you can kind of scroll through these different styles. You can combine them. I don't think it's a good idea to do so because it just goes all gribbly. But you can flick through these styles and kind of find something you like. So when I'm building my tree man, I want to have Blood Bowl kind of style, and I think the one I like is this one here because you can dual layer this as well. So you don't have to. Let's see, is the banner one any good? What does that one look like? Oh, that's quite cool actually. Yeah, you can. That's kind of cool. But I think what we'll do is I like that. I like that one a lot. Which one do I prefer? That one, I think. Is that the one I used? Let's just do a bit of, foreshadowing. Yeah, that's the one we used. So we're going to go for this one. Then we want to change the griblies on the side here. I like the fact they call them griblies because you get a ton of cool stuff. So I am going to scroll down, find the shield style, and click it off. And by choosing some of the other ones, we've got side wheels. That's quite cool. Got spheres. There's some stuff in there as well. There's some very 40k bits. There's some nuclear cool stuff. So this works for Battlefleet Gothic, for Adeptus Titanicus. If you are in any way an AT fan, this is just going to be fantastic for naming all of your Titans. So we're Blood Bowling, so we kind of want one of the American football looking things. We've got spiked ball here. You got ball with stitches and spikes there. That's actually quite cool, which is the one I went for in the end. I do like that one, but I think I went for the simple... was it this one? Ball metal ring with the little spikes? I think it is the one I went for because it's classic Blood Bowl, isn't it? And it's very similar to the ones that Warg'Name did before that I've got on my Snotling team. these here, which I actually really like the style of. In fact, this is a very similar style. That's good. I like my stuff to kind of be as cohesive as possible. Anyway, we've got the ball bit there, and now we want to change this text. So you can just click pieces. Now when it comes to text, you can click here, then you've got to do a very funny thing. So click the text, tab, Control A, then you type. It's that simple. So tab and Control A will get you to the text. Tabbing again will take you out of it. And then you can just go do whatever you want, and you can adjust things. So we are going to tab, Control A, and what are we going to call this guy? Let's just go Bonehead Podcast. Bonehead Podcast, and we'll pop it there. Do we want it in all capitals? No, that's probably fine. So we tab to come out of that. And then while we've got the text there, we can increase the scale, we can increase the size. And a little trick here is you can add and subtract different font styles. Some of them are going to be a little bit off center. Using this XYZ location bit up here, you can move it up or down. So let's have a quick look at this. See if I can remember how to do this. We've got to go down here, select the green here for font. And then you've got this little section here. Let me just check OBS. Yeah, my head is right in the way. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make me invisible for a quick moment. Move to bottom. There we go. Let's just hide me so you guys can see down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the new folder to add a font. You've got all the fonts in your zone, which is pretty cool. So you can just choose one. Now we're not going to use this one in the end. We're going to use this one. Do we go to downloads? Let's go to my downloads. Let's find the folder because this comes with some fonts. 40mm nameplates. There we go. And we'll go with this one here. This will update the font. And there you go. And then you can change the size of the font. So we want to go to 1.8 for this. Let's hit return. And boom, you can see that it's got a bit chunky. It's probably a little bit too big. So let's take it down to, oh, that's size 6. That is too big. Okay, I think we'd all agree that is too big there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to 1.6. And that should bring the font into a reasonable size. I am now back. And that thing I said where you can adjust the placing, so you can see there that actually at the bottom it's kind of touching the line. If you want that, that's great. But all you have to do is muck about with the axes here, and that will tell you whereabouts it's going to go. So you can see I've just increased it slightly, and it's now centered. You can play with that. It's very easy to do so. So we've got our main text. What we want is a bar across the top here, because we want it to say Tree Man. Alright, because that's what our positional is going to be. We're going to click on this. We're going to click back on the text because that's going to help us scroll through and find the text. Then you've got text title here. You've got one there and you've got one there. So you get basically two different choices. There's also a banner style text here. So you've got different text options as well. Like literally for the different sizes. You've got text styles as well. There's cool stuff. So we're going to go for the title here. Do you want that one or do you want that one? Is there much difference? One's slightly bigger. Let's go for the slightly bigger one. Nah, let's go for the slightly smaller one. So again, we're going to click the text, press tab, press Control A, and we are going to go 1 Tree Man. And 1, because it's going to be player number 1 on our team. There we go. Now you can see we've got the Tree Man. We can change the font if we want to. But actually, as far as that goes, I'm pretty happy with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to save it as an STL now. And this bit is really simple as well. Took me a couple of attempts to get right. So to select the stuff you need, click and hold. And you'll see that it selects everything. Then what you need to do is using Control, not Control, maybe using Shift. Select everything. Using Shift, you want to deselect this behind it. Okay, you want to deselect the base element. Then you've got everything here selected. So your ball, your two different text styles, the positioning, the frame style as well. And there's a bunch of other stuff you can chuck on. We are going to go File, Export, Export STL, and then the all-important button here, Selection. There we go. So you can see I've already got some of my stuff here. And you can save it under whatever name you want. So we're going to go Tree Test 1. Export STL. and in a couple of seconds that will populate and you will have your base made. Now we've made our STL, all we've got to do is chuck it into a slicing tool. So I use Chitubox, which may get me in trouble with some people, but it's just what I used. You go to your file, you find your jobby what's it. So we did tree test, so we'll open tree test, and actually the one I want is Burlfist Long Trunk, who is actually what this guy's going to be called. Open up the files and then we can have a bit of a zoom around, and we can zoom in and we can see the STL files that we've made. So this is the one we've just made, this one here, the Bonehead podcast one. We are going to get rid of that because that's not what we are all about right now. What we want is this Burlfist Long Truck. Now you can support it however you like. This is really going to be down to you. If you've never done it before, this is my way of doing it. There are much better ways of doing it, but I will pop this to 35. I will raise it 4mm off, and then I am going to do something that's going to upset a lot of you people who print, and I'm going to click this button here, and we're going to auto support using heavy because I am reckless. Okay, I am a berserker when it comes to printing. I am not disciplined. However, I print stuff, and you know what? I am reasonably happy with that, and this is what I did for the one I've got on the go here. So you add the supports, and basically what that does is it just allows you to do the print upwards. So we'll be right back when the supports are finished adding. Okay, so we've worked the magic now. We've got some awful auto supports, which is the downside, so I'm just going to delete these because no thank you, that is ugly. We'll get rid of you, we'll get rid of you. Right, like I said, I am a bit of a fast and loose printer. However, this works for me, so I'm happy to show it off. So now we've got it supported, and all you have to do is make 1 billion of them, make them for your team, and the cool thing is you can save each of the files as its own one. So I've now got presets. So if I wanted to open up Blender, I've got like Blood Bowl preset, I've got Adeptus Titanicus preset, so you can kind of build your own templates, and it takes no time at all. Now the reason that is so useful is I did this for Bonehead Bowl 21. Where are you? There we go. Boop. I did this for all of our little trophies, basically. Printed out some trophies to go on 40mm bases, put the little logo on, basically all done. I can just go and edit it out, just adjust it for each of the stuff. So when we had most touchdowns, we had this. It worked really well, and it took no time at all, like literally. It took me 4 minutes to basically put out all the different logos, all the different trophy types. Worked really well and saved me a ton of effort, saved Ben, who tends to be our sculptor man, a ton of effort as well. So really like this. Once they're supported, you print them out. In fact, let's have a look at a printed version. So you'll have to excuse the paint on my fingers and how close I'm having to hold this, but this is my printed version. I have chucked a bunch of Nuln oil on it just to kind of show off the detail. I'm going to do my very best to show it off on camera, but this is how my print came out. Obviously I've not tidied up the bottom where I've taken the supports off. I literally just gave it a quick wash in the cleaning fluid and then snapped off the supports. I didn't even use the hot water trick with this one because I didn't really need to. I'll file this down safely wearing a mask outside 1 million miles away from other people, obviously, because resin is dangerous. But you can see I've chucked some non-oil on there so you can see. So with no effort, you can read that text. Not brilliantly with the autofocus of the camera, but you can also see I've got Tree Man written on the top. That is very, very clear, and you guys saw how little effort it took for me to make this. Like, we just did that in 5 minutes, basically, and that's with me talking through it. So, got my base printed. Now I can attach it. So, if I look at the back, actually, there might be a couple of... Yeah, I'm going to need to file that down real quick, but that's no different than every other model. And then it will just glue on the base. And then Burlfist Long Trunk will be named, and my giant Tree Man model from Warg'Name Minis will be infamous forevermore. So that is how quick it is and how easy it is to print one of these bases. And Warg'Name, the inspiration is from their last Kickstarter where I got the Snotling team, and you can see that the style I've gone for is actually very similar to the one before, and that's because it's a really good Blood Bowl style. I've got the ball, you've got the font, you've got the top bit where you can put your team name or anything like that. Actually works really, really well. Okay, so we've had a look, we've printed it out, we've designed it, we've had a bit of an investigation of those types of styles and base greeblies you can put on. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's brilliant. And we've looked at one file type. So that's the 40mm regular. There's 40mm round. There's all the different base sizes that we saw at the beginning of the video. And it is an absolute tool. So if you are a 3D printer, if you like having stuff for your teams of Blood Bowl, for your mechs in Battletech, for your Titans at Adeptus Titanicus, this set means that you can build every style, basically, of nameplate you will ever need. And you guys saw how easy it was to do. Now, when it comes to the pricing factor, not sure what the level is going to be when the Kickstarter goes live. But if you think what we paid for one team's worth, or if you look at some of the other STL Kickstarters, you normally get one stuff for £15 to £20. With this here, you've got the base sizes for every game you will ever play, and it's really flexible. I'm really impressed. This is, I will be automatically Kickstarter. I will automatically back this because it's gonna be fantastically useful for whatever I do. I am going to get back into Adeptus Titanicus, and I'm going to need nameplates. I've got a spaceship game, Engage. I will need numbers, and I will need plates for those ships. That's perfect. This has just got it sorted, and it's really easy. So I actually think this is a brilliant product. Not sure what the final price level is going to be, but hopefully from watching this you can see how easy it is, and just how good it is. Like, I wish we'd had this like last year. I just wish we'd had this before. Ton of work has gone into this from Warg'Name, and I think it's brilliant. So good job them, good job us for having access to something like this soon enough, and I'm really impressed. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. Have a look at the links below for the info for this product, because I'm actually pretty sold. Anyway, I'm going to go paint this tree man, and I'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy printing.